Hey guys, do you know the show Batman the Animated Series? If you didn't watch it, it's pretty much acclaimed by anyone that's seen it. They say it's their favorite iteration of Batman ever. Better than the movie, better than the game, or the comic. Basically, this Batman is the definitive one. The Batman every writer should inspire to write. That's what people think. That's what fans seem to think. Batman is a dark, serious, and grounded character. I'll tell you something. Sometime, when there's something that someone creates for entertainment, let's call it a product, right? If it's good and it get a fair share of traction, it'll get fan, right? People that like the product and want more of it. When someone become a fan of the product, it'll depend, but sometimes the fan like everything from the product. The good, the bad, the ugly, you know. Now there's some fans that know the flaw of the product and want this to be upgraded. That's fine, right? Wanting to get something better. But they all have one mindset. The product core mustn't change. So it's very likely that sometime when a fan take care of a product, it might become a better version of the product in time. Or maybe, that's a maybe, because it depends. The product will never change for the better. You know Spider-Man PS4? People love the game, right? Fans cheer for it and praise it. This Peter and his suit are iconic. Some say that this is the definitive version of Spider-Man. When the game announced though, fan reaction were, I don't know, I don't like the suit. Why isn't it the classic suit? When the fans saw something different, they didn't like it. They rejected the thought of having something different from what they were used to. Now, of course, people played it, fans bought it, and it turned out good. Spider-Man is well known outside of comic. He had previous game and movies surrounding him. So of course, whatever people think, someone would have bought it and said to everyone, hey, it's good guys. The same scenario happened again with Guardian of the Galaxy. People saw the game, thought the character looked weird, and they didn't want it to have anything to do with it until people bought it eventually and told other people that it was good. Okay, now that I said that, let me go straight to the point. Batman. Batman is a dark, serious, and grounded character. That's what people love him for. But of course, Batman wasn't always this way. At first, he would whip out a gun and crack criminal neck. Every bad guy would die and get gunned down before the Batman. He wasn't portrayed dark, but he was a darker guy. He was just being, I guess at the time, a hero, a different kind, compared to Superman. Short story, someone came along, saw a comic, and said, no, that's bad for kid. Then passed a rule for comics so that they be censored. So Batman started to smile, he started to hate gun and stop it killing eventually. He would dress up as a firefighter, or he would wear a rainbow suit in his crusade. Time passed. Batman became dark again eventually, but he still kept stuff from the Silver Age, the no killing rule and some other stuff. Batman is a dark, serious and grounded character. If he goes back to being corny, Batman fans would hate it. They should show it in the movie of George Clooney. Batman became less dark and more campy. Though granted, they weren't good movie, so maybe they were just trying to find an excuse or something to explain why this movie was bad, but I digress. Batman is a dark, serious and grounded character. When I think about this sentence, there's a quote that popped in my head from the RoboCop remake movie.
People really don't know what they want until you show it to them.
Fans don't know what they want. When I keep thinking about it, there's this example that popped in my head of Spider-Man PS4. Fans didn't like the suit. I didn't like the suit. Now I like it. There's some stuff I would change, but that's beside the point. I also wasn't really expecting much from Guardian of the Galaxy. And when I think back of the way I was thinking, I feel like it was so limited. I thought at first that the Batman fan had a weird obsession with having a dark Batman, but I realized the general public liked more dark and gritty and serious stuff than the fun, cheesy, light-hearted stuff. Every time I wondered why. The answer always came off as a pretentious opinion that light-hearted stuff have no depth that they want to watch an actual intellectual show. The irony is that most of the time, those guys don't want to watch an actual smart show, but show that make you feel smart, like BoJack Horseman or Rick and Morty. So if you follow what I was talking about, the public get attracted by the multiple dark iteration of Batman, right? After watching some Batman, they become fan. And as I said, fans don't like when the stuff they watch change, so they complain and simply don't watch the other stuff that are too different from what they like. I know that's a fact, because I was one of them. I used to think that lighthearted shows were just for children or something. Like, you know, those rated E for everyone. I know that because I missed out on the masterpiece that is Batman. In the case of Batman fan, especially them, not only do they don't know what they want, but they don't know the character that they want something from. Batman is a dark, serious and grounded character, but he can be so much more. Now here comes the reason why I made this video. Batman Brave and the Bold. Batman Brave the Bold is cheesy, crazy and over the top. It literally jumped the shark. Now, you may think that it's childish, that this is what kids watch. A superhero fighting crime and triumphing against evil every end of the week. It may look like that, but the writer fully know what they are doing. Everything in it is intentional. When Batman fight against a villain named Babyface, you know it's cheesy in the right way. This Batman isn't dressed in black, but in blue. He smiles and he's not tormented. Maybe sometime, but most of the time he's a light in the room. This show is an homage to the Silver Age Batman. His cape transformed into a jetpack and his bat belt turned into a sword. He fight against a ghost that is also a gentleman called Gentleman Ghost. You know, the show isn't taking itself seriously, and it wants you to clearly laugh along the crazy adventure. Batman is a dark, serious and grounded character. Well, I'll tell you, you're missing out, man. This Batman is Batman, true and true, and it was genius. This show had the idea to introduce people, characters that were unknown to the public. Most people know Green Lantern, Al Jordan or Jon Stewart, but some don't even know about Guy Gardner, Booster Gold or Red Tornado, and I'll talk about Red Tornado later. They also tried to make heroes that were infamous at the time, such as Aquaman and Martian Manhunter, cool for everyone. The show could shift tone every time it felt like it. One episode could be a classic adventure between Batman having a rivalry with Green Arrow. The next, it would turn creepy with vampire Batman killing the Justice League one by one. Now, I don't want to overhype this show. Sure, there's some episodes that are less interesting to watch, like the final of a season that I forgot which season, but in this final episode, it was just pretty much brainless fighting that wouldn't excite much anyone. The redeeming factor of this episode was that you could find your fun watching Batman build himself a god armor, but most of the time, the story really drives the show forward. Like the parallel universe arc in which the bad guy are the good guy and the good guy are the bad guy. So Batman ends up teaming up with Red Hood to fight against Owlman, or he appeared to another world where he meet a Batman that is Zur-En-Arrh and he's voiced by Kevin Conroy. For this Red Tornado episode that I'm really building up right now. Now let's take a step back to earlier in this video. I said I was once part of the problem. When I first saw Batman Brave and the Bold, I had no intention to watch it. In my mind I thought, yuck, it's basically Adam West's Batman, the most stupid Batman. I clearly didn't understand what was going on. Adam West's Batman wasn't also meant to be taken seriously. Both were made so that you could laugh at those goofy scenarios. I remember one time in Christmas, there was an episode in Brave the Bold that played. It was my first time watching the show and I was too lazy to change channel. And also I was sleeping in the couch and the couch was very soft that day, so you know. This episode was my introduction to the character Red Tornado. The episode was focused on Red Tornado trying to feel something to live Christmas like everyone. But he couldn't understand that he'll never feel anything because he's a robot. But he still tried, just I guess in some way. I don't know if Batman didn't know that he could feel emotion or it just was too hard to say to give up. I don't know. But I know that close to the end of the episode, you can see emotion for a brief moment on Red Tornado as he opened his Christmas gift. This episode made me feel entertained, sad, and hopeful. I started liking Red Tornado and wanted more of the guy. So when I was watching Young Justice Season 1 at that time, Red Tornado suddenly appeared, and I was happy. I was like, he's my boy. But my brothers looked at me funny and didn't know who was Red Tornado. Of course, I didn't want it to spoil the episode that I saw of Brave and the Bold, but I wanted to explain that he was a great character, and that never sitted right with me, because words never justify rightfully the emotion or the feeling you have when you're telling someone that they should try something that doesn't look interesting. Except, hey bro, you gotta believe me, this shit's fire my guy, it's crack! And you could say that to every show. So after this episode, Batman Brave and the Bold was on my watch list. I needed to know if the show was actually good or if it was a fluke. I remember that when I started the first episode, I was laughing. A guy called, I don't know the fuck his name was, had two goons called Tick and Tock. And the clock guy put Batman in the word death trap. He then proceeded to threaten them by saying they will go kaput. I knew in that moment that maybe I got something. Also, that Red Tornado episode, I might be wrong what's happening, or maybe I'm confusing two episodes I saw, but both episodes are really great. There's a Christmas episode of Red Tornado that was the first thing I saw, and then there's the episode about Red Tornado building a family, and I won't talk about it, but it's really great. And you see what I was talking about? You gotta believe me, bro. That's I don't know how to say it in another way. That yeah, you should go watch it, try it, make your own opinion on it. So after watching the whole series and arriving the final episode, Batman Brave and the Bold was very meta at the last episode, explaining why they were getting cancelled as throughout they were progressing through the adventure. And basically, they got cancelled because people wanted a darker Batman show. They kept asking more episodes, like the one dark episode of Batman Brave and the Bold called Chill of the Night. By cancelling the show, we got Beware the Batman right after that. Another show that fans didn't seem to like for the design of the characters such as Batman, Alfred, or Kitana. All the villains he fought against in the show were nobody that no one cared about. There's no iconic Batman villain like Mr. Freeze or Penguin, but that was the idea for the show. They wanted to introduce the villains that were obscure so that you would get interested in them. I personally kinda like Beware the Batman for what it was aiming for. I saw a couple episodes and some were good, but it got also cancelled. So I suppose it didn't really work for people. Fans canceled Brave and the Bold so that they can watch a darker Batman. But when they got it, fans rejected it because it tried to have a little twist in it. It seems like fans don't know what they're asking for. They're asking for a dark Batman. And when people give them dark Batman, they're not satisfied unless you give them Batman the Animated Series. But that would just make it trash, because you would just try to copy the work of someone else. Of course it's going to suck. And yeah, I did say that fans don't know the character Batman, didn't I? The saying they keep bringing up when they're introducing Batman is Bruce Wayne's secret identity is Batman. If you did understand, they're saying that Bruce Wayne is the mask and that Batman is his true identity. And that's a lie. I'm not saying Bruce Wayne is the real him, the playboy out there in the public that goes out and party at night. But so is Batman. They're both fake. The guy underneath those two masks, the true Batman, the true Bruce Wayne, it only appears in a certain circumstance. It's when Bruce Wayne is at the Batcave with Alfred or someone. He's not filled with rage like Batman, and he isn't overly charming like Bruce Wayne. He's mostly sad and alone. Compared to Batman, he can crack a joke, and compared to Bruce Wayne, he can make a genuine smile. The true Bruce Wayne, that's how I call it, and that's who Batman is. And I can see this character every time when I pop a 20-minute episode that is Batman Braving the Bold. He may be over the top in the show, he may be cheesy and exaggerated, but I can feel that in the essence he is his true self. Until the end, he fight the fight, because that's what Batman do, and that's what Batman is about. Hey guys, through the video I blame a lot on the Batman fan for the cancellation of Brave and the Bold. I don't personally think it's 100% the fan fault. It got cancelled because people weren't watching it, and that's how a show get cancelled, so maybe people started to not like it anymore. But I still thought it was good in the end. Now I heard that Brave and the Bold got some fan, and that's nice. I hope the show doesn't get forgotten. It had a good story to tell and great joke. Anyway, the classics, subscribe, do not forget the channel, like the video if you liked it, and until we see each other again, have a good day.